it's Mayra. Thank you all for watching my videos. I look forward to hearing and reading people's thoughts once they've checked it out. My shout out for today goes to Keli, my sister-in-law. You can also get a shout out on here. All you have to do is watch my video and be the first one to comment. If you know me, you can do that in person by calling, texting, emailing, or commenting on Facebook, Orkut, or YouTube. If you don't know me, you're welcome to send me an email as well, or just add me on YouTube and leave your comment there with your name. Today, I want to talk about finding God. How do we do that if we can't see God? First, let's mention some things that we can't see, but we know is actually there. Air, which is a mixture of nitrogen, oxygen, and minute amounts of other gases that surrounds the Earth and forms its atmosphere. Wind, which is air in natural motion, as that moving horizontally at any velocity along the Earth's surface. Gravity, which is the force of attraction by which terrestrial bodies tend to fall toward the center of the Earth. Temperature, which is a measure of the warmth or coldness of an object or substance with reference to some standard value. Sound, which is the sensation produced by stimulation of the organs of hearing by vibrations transmitted through the air or other medium. Scent, which is a distinctive odor. And certain light, such as infrared and ultraviolet, which are not visible to the naked human eye. I didn't come up with this list by myself. I had the help of some friends on Facebook. The credit goes out to Tercia, John, Keli, Alini, Steve, and Natalie. Other people's ideas didn't make my list, but thanks for trying anyways. Now that you have some things in mind that we obviously can't see, remember that we also can't see God, although it is possible to feel and hear God. How? Well, that all happens when you build a relationship with Him. After looking through a few pages in a book called God is Closer Than You Think by John Ortberg, it came to my attention that he compared God to the character Waldo. Have you ever looked through those Waldo books as a child? I have. He's so ordinary compared to all the other characters on the page with him. Waldo was created by Martin Hanford, who wanted to draw crowd scenes. He added Waldo to these crowd scenes and children fell in love. So much that more than 40 million Where's Waldo books have been sold in 28 countries. For those of you who don't know who Waldo is, here's a picture of him. And here's an example of what the pages in a Where's Waldo book looks like. Waldo is on every page. The author assures it. You just have to look for him. Once you've found him, there is satisfaction. You feel proud of yourself, especially when it takes you over 5 to 10 minutes. The first pages of the book are easy to spot Waldo, but it gets harder as you turn each one. By the end, Waldo is placed with those almost identical to him. You have to be really patient to find the real Waldo. All the other cartoons have one or two things different from the real character. Some people give up before they even reach the last page. Where's Waldo? Why can't I find him? Maybe this page has an error. No, Waldo is there. Sometimes he's obvious, other times you have to pay closer attention. The same way that Martin Hanford assures that Waldo is on every page, God assures us that He is present on every page of our life. You have to trust the author. Just because we have a hard time finding God doesn't mean that He doesn't exist. God is there. God is always present, and He doesn't need to make His existence so obvious to us. John writes, "You have to believe that God has a good reason for keeping His presence subtle. It allows creatures as small and frail as human beings the capacity for choice that we would never have in the obvious presence of infinite power." People driving behind a police car don't speed, not always because their hearts are right, but because they don't want to get pulled over. God wants to be known, but not in a way that overwhelms us. That takes away the possibility of love freely chosen. You know the difference between good and bad, right? When people in authority are watching, which do you choose? Most people choose good when their parents, teachers, pastors, or bosses are watching. What about when you think you're alone? Truth being, most people choose bad, forgetting that they are never really solo. God is upstairs watching, but we forget that sometimes. Now, imagine your life if you could actually see God with your human eyes, and He was standing right next to you. You would probably choose to do good constantly, but would it come from your heart? Would you be kind to others because it was the right thing to do, or because God was giving you the look? God doesn't want you to feel pressured. God rejoices in heaven when a sinner turns away from his sin because of his free will. He wants you to welcome Him with open arms, not because you have to, but because you want to. When most people picture God, they see only the powerful and almost kind of scary side of Him. When God came down to be with us through His Son, Jesus, in human flesh, He didn't look like much at all. John writes, "He looked ordinary. God came down and was born in a manger and got a job in the construction industry, pounding nails 8 hours a day. God was on every page, but no one recognized Him." This is because everyone was expecting God to come down to earth and start ruling over all of us. Instead, God chose to come down from heaven to be one of us, ordinary people. What kind of God would he be, demanding that we glorify him, sentencing us to death if we committed a sin, forcing us to pray and read the Bible every day? Hello? Is that the kind of God you want? Of course not. The Bible is full of verses about God wanting to be close to us, wanting to reveal himself to us. But you know what the problem is? We don't allow God to be God. We put him in a box and expect him to work the way we want him to. A lot of people reject God without even giving him a chance, without even opening up the Bible and reading his word. Sound familiar? Has anyone ever told you that they already don't like you before they even met you? I know, I've been told that a couple of times. It's crazy, isn't it? God already came down to us through Jesus. There were many who believed he was the King of Kings, and many who did not. There will always be those who believe and those who don't, but that doesn't make God any less or any more of who he is. You might have a hard time finding Waldo, but that doesn't mean he isn't there. He's not going to change his position or character. He's not going to simply jump out of the page and say, "Here I am!" In John chapter 7, verse 33 to 34, Jesus said, "I am with you for only a short time, and then I go to the one who sent me. You will look for me, but you will not find me, and where I am, you cannot come." Jesus was talking about his time on earth, and that eventually he was going back to heaven. He clearly said we won't find him with our human eyes. We won't see him, and we can't build an elevator to reach heaven either. It's your choice. Live your life rejecting God because you can't see him, though he is actually there, expecting him to change who he is or how he works just to satisfy your needs, or accept that God exists and fight to find him, knowing that sometimes it won't be easy, knowing that it's not about how we see God, but how God wants us to see him, not with our eyes, but with our hearts.